So what the heck is ease stitching?
So ease-stitching and gathering are actually pretty much the exact same thing, but used in slightly different circumstances, so they call it by a different name, which means you are going to start with two parallel lines of gathering stitches. This is a very long stitch length with no back stitch. One of the lines will be outside your stitching line, and one of the lines will be inside your stitching line. You are then going to take the tails of those two lines of stitching, and you are very slowly, very gently going to start gathering things. Now, the difference between a E-stitch and a gathering stitch is actually just an E-stitch is a gathering stitch where you just don't gather things very much. So when you do an E-stitch, theoretically, you should be able to start gathering things, but only so slightly so that you don't actually see any legitimate gathers. It is, however, extremely useful in taking a flat piece of fabric and changing it into something that is now curved. This piece of fabric was flat. Now you see it has this curve at the top. The places in which E-stitching is used is usually in a curved area in order to shape it into getting this curve. And since the curves are already, by definition, cut on a bias, it means that this curve is very malleable. So the E-stitch is a way to shape that fabric, that bias cut fabric that is already curvy and prone to manipulation, and turning it more curved. And you see this is now a shape that is much better suited for the head of a sleeve. Another area you will often see E-stitching like this is on the side part of a princess seamed garment. Because, once again, it is a way to take a flat piece of fabric and manipulate it into being curved, which is useful when you're doing bust shaping. Once you finish sewing that eased piece of fabric into your finished garment, you shouldn't really notice any puckering like you would on gathers. It should just look like a smooth line, but it should make that fabric that you're manipulating significantly curvier. Good luck on those sleeves and princess seams, and I'll see you next time.